What's the best horror movie? The first Pet Sematary movie. The one with Herman Munster as Judd. The scene where the kid is hiding under the bed and cuts the old man's Achilles tendon creeps me out to this day. That scene has scarred me for life. Not that it happens often, but if anyone touches my Achilles, I freak out. Rec, Spanish original. It's been over 10 years and I'm still freaked out. Uck. Midsummer is my personal favorite. Followed closely by The Witch. A24 pumps out really good art house horror if you're into that kind of thing. A24 and Blumhouse are standards. The Ring. Sad I had to scroll down so far for this one, it's the scariest. Most horror movies don't do anything to actually scare me except for jump scares, which I consider cheap and not really scary, just startling. The best scary movies are the ones that scare you more after the movie is over. Does Alien count? If not, probably Jennifer's Body. I would also like to be live that Carmilla 2017 is in the horror movie genre. Alien totally counts. I'd say Alien and The Thing are the two scariest movies. I think Alien was a fun movie. I don't think it's scary. Evil Dead. Both the original and remake are phenomenal. And Evil Dead 2. And Army of Darkness. And Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell is a treasure. It's a toss-up between The Thing and The Shining. The Shining takes the win. And the book is even better. I'm going to add in It Follows. Really creepy flick and pretty original. My absolute favorite horror movies would be Alien and The Thing, but others have beat me to those. One of the worst nightmares of my life was about being pursued by The Thing from It Follows. Uck. Shivers. Poltergeist. The Thing. And Halloween. John Carpenter is a genius. Halloween is practically the template. 1408 It's an evil fucking room. Stephen King reads the short story the movie was based on. It's one of my all-time favorite audiobook recordings. https://youtube.b/vqfhx2zz. The Ritual gives me chills every time I watch it. What an incredibly well-designed monster. Halloween. Insidious. I really liked the story, the jump scare, the narration. Everything. Especially Insidious 2. Sinister. Dark movie and very good. Jesus Camp. The Babadook. Hereditary really creeped me out and stayed with me for days. No jump scares either, just incredibly unsettling throughout, culminating in a final act where I simultaneously couldn't watch and couldn't look away. There is one scene near the end, in the bedroom, that sent chills up my spine. If you saw it, you know the one I'm talking about, currently streaming on Prime. Ari Aster is honestly my fave director when it comes to horror movies. He had this signature eerie and psychologic element that I can't find on other horror films. It's not just jump scares. It's in the uncommon camera work, the timing, the cast, the details. Bruh. I remember my heart jumping out of my chest when that TSK on that car scene came on. It's so unpredictable AF I had to pause the film just to fire myself up. Another film of his is Midsommar, which isn't horror but it's so disturbing and almost real. Plus he made a thriller in broad daylight paradise setting. How ballsy is that TLDR? Anything made by Ari Aster, Blumhouse Productions and A24 are frickin' bomb. Midsommar is definitely horror, but otherwise I totally agree with you. I couldn't stop thinking about that movie all week, it's brilliant. My favorite is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. My brother. He makes good head cheese. 28 Days Later. The thing that scared me the most about 28 Days Later was Danny Boyle's subtle narrative that the movie is nothing but a testament to how the horror we see on screen has been a reality for many people: militaries abusing civilians, women being raped and treated as pieces of meat for breeding, people violently killing other people in a barbaric, animalistic way. All of these things are happening in the world right now, and evidently an apocalypse scenario doesn't need to be present for real people to suffer the brutal scenes that we saw in the film. 28 Weeks Later was also pretty terrifying. The opening scene where he's running. That shit had my blood pumping. 30 Days of Night, messed me up. The Exorcist. Saw this in a special re-release close to 20 years ago, 30th anniversary. Wonderful experience. The theater was huge and completely sold out. The crowd was younger and openly mocked the movie for a while. When things started really rolling, the house was perfectly quiet. The younger crowd didn't seem to expect such an old movie could be so terrifying. Cabin in the Woods. Army of Darkness. Finally somebody with some goddamn class around here. It gets a lot of hate, but it follows. That movie really messed me up for a bit. I found it terrifying. Knowing that someone is always after you scared the hell out of me. Not to mention the followers were so damn creepy looking. I've literally never once seen someone hating on It Follows. Was showing this movie to some of my friends, and there is that one guy who decides he needs to shit on the movie throughout so he looks tough, ruins it for everyone. Fuck that guy. This movie was amazing. Scream is my favorite. I've been completely obsessed with The Lighthouse. It's a horror movie, but it's also humorous and shot in a nearly square 1.19:1 aspect ratio that corresponds to narrow sets and seeks to withhold information from the audience. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson work together so well, and there's a constant feeling of dread and laughter throughout the whole movie about these two lunatics who are stuck together on a rocky island and are driving each other mad. You're fond of me lobster, ain't ye? Ha 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 ha. I'm not seeing it here, so I'll add one I saw within the past few years that really stuck with me, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. I never watched it myself, but watching my friend watch it in class was one of the funniest things I've ever seen at school. I did watch a few minutes of it next to her but could barely hear it. It's something I would watch. The Blair Witch Project, don't know why it just gets me every time. For me, The Conjuring. Clap twice if you agree. I just can't do the Conjuring movies. Aside from the fact that I find them kinda hokey and poorly written, I hate how it glamorizes the Warrens. Makes them seem saint-like, almost. In actuality, the Warrens were complete charlatans who at best were well-intentioned but misguided, and at worst were actual con artists. I lean towards the latter, since George Lutz, the Amityville horror guy, claims they advised him to embellish his story so he could get a book/movie deal out of it. I also find the use of religious imagery and allegory extremely ham-fisted. I was pretty bumped after reading about the Warrens. I still enjoy the movies though. I like religious horror movies but don't like it when they make ordinary people become demon fighters. Just doesn't make sense to me, ordinary people performing the act. I am not religious.